I live across the street with my husband Mark and my two daughters, Fiona and Nora. Fiona is 4.5 and Nora is 16 and in 11th grade. So it's a lifestyle choice there. Okay, so in RIC we were talking a few weeks ago about why we come to St. Matthew's and how sharing those stories of what roots us here is really important, and being an open and affirming congregation, but also just why we as individual members feel welcomed here. And yeah, so I just wanted to share my story. So my entire life, I grew up in the shadow of the Catholic Church. I have 2 nuns in my family and a deacon. When girls were finally allowed to be altar servers in 1994, I signed up immediately. I received all my sacraments in the Catholic Church. Nora did as well, and Fiona was baptized there. Faith has always been a part of my story. But in the spring of 2022, something shifted. When Roe v. Wade was leaked and then overturned, I received a letter from the diocese asking for prayers for traditional family values, for the leaker to be prosecuted, and for women to stop having abortions. None of this should have surprised me. I knew the doctrine, but reading it as a woman and as a mother raising 2 daughters, it didn't sit right. It lit a fire in me. I found myself angry and unsettled and venting for days about this letter. Finally, my husband Mark said, "This isn't like you. What are you going to do about it?" So I said, "That's it. We're going to the little church across the street." Our first Sunday at St. Matthew's was in May of 2022. Fiona was 6 months old. Nora was 13 and in 8th grade. We didn't know what to expect. And if you've ever brought a baby to church, you know that alone is stressful. We sat in the back on the right, ready for a quick exit if needed. But something happened that morning. We were greeted, truly greeted, not glanced at, not politely nodded to, but welcomed. We left that day and said to each other, "Wow, we've never felt so welcomed in church before." We filled out the visitor card. We received mail back, inviting us back. So we came back, and then we kept coming back. That summer, Pastor Robin came to our house. We talked about life. He shared about his own health issues. I shared how just weeks earlier I had performed life-saving CPR on my brother-in-law while on vacation, while he went to sudden cardiac arrest. I was still processing what it meant to literally hold someone's life in your hands. But there was a connection there, a sense that this wasn't just a place we attended, but a place where we could be known. Over the next months, we juggled church with a very vocal baby who had plenty to say. We took turns stepping out of the sanctuary so she wouldn't be disruptive. And over, this community reassured us, you don't have to leave. One Sunday, when Fiona was particularly squirmy and chatty, Pastor Robin paused mid-service and said, sorry, this is surprising. When we say everyone is welcome, we mean everyone, including Fiona. And that moment stayed with me. Because welcome here isn't just a word, it's practiced. It was practiced when we all had COVID during Christmas caroling, and the congregation stood at the end of our sidewalk singing Christmas carols, leaving hot chocolate and candy canes behind. It was practiced when Fiona spent several days in the PICU at Hershey with respiratory distress, and you showed up with prayers and meals. It's in the small moments and the big ones. Somewhere along the way, we stopped sitting in the back and started taking up space in the very front, so Fiona would have more room. And that feels symbolic to me. We moved from visitors to belonging. St. Matthew's is a little church with a big heart, and for our family, it has been a place of courage, compassion, and room to grow. We're so grateful to be your neighbors, and even more grateful to belong here. Thank you.